Hi, I'm Tim, and welcome to WatchYouWant.com. What we have here is a Rolex 18108 Day-Date, better known as the President. Now, although this watch is officially called the Day-Date, just about everyone everywhere has called it the President. Why? Because for about 40 years, this was the only choice for true power brokers. If you wanted to be seen wearing the ultimate watch, not just a luxury watch, but the ultimate statement that you've arrived, you wanted the President. Now, this was Rolex's most complicated watch for quite a while, rivaling the chronograph Daytona, but in a different way. Originally released in 1956, this was the first auto-winding watch that had a day and a date display. And it was a big deal because for many years this watch was produced exclusively in precious metal. Really, there's only ever been one that wasn't, and it's an esoteric collector's piece. So for the most part, the integrity of this model line and the value and appeal of it has been preserved exclusively through production of rose, yellow gold, white gold, and platinum day-dates. Rolex always ensured that the Day-Date occupied an exalted position in its catalog. And again, for about 4 decades, this was the watch worn by anyone who really mattered on the international power scene. And it's got a lot going for it, so why would a Bilderberg want this watch? Well, first and foremost, as mentioned, precious metal only, but there are other exclusives, like the beautiful President bracelet. 3 links, very fine. You'll notice most Rolexes feature the Jubilee or the Oyster bracelet. The Jubilee is a 5-link, small link design, very delicate, a little bit dainty. The Oyster is a little too blocky, sports-oriented. 3-link looks very heavy visually. And both of them feature a clasp that's kind of obtrusive and might compromise the lines a little bit. Not the President. What you see here is the seamless integration of a deployant clasp via the 5-point crown clasp. And that's your only sign of where the clasp actually parts. That's a President exclusive, and the President is almost always paired with the Rolex Day-Date. With very few exceptions, these two go together in Rolex history and the Rolex catalog. And it's a special one that we have here because this is bark finished. You can see that the center links have a sort of horizontal striation that's a little bit rusticated, and that's called a bark finish, and it matches the bezel here. But whereas the bezel is radially bark finished with inset gems at the hour indexes, the bracelet is horizontally bark finished, which contrasts very nicely with the tapered and vertically brushed, and those are delicately brushed, outer links of the bracelet. So there's a lot of contrast here, in spite of the fact that it's an all-gold watch. Very attractive, very subtle. You can see that these 12 brilliant cut diamonds actually contrast quite nicely with the gold and add these little highlights without being exceptionally extravagant. They are discreet in their way, very elegant. This reads as a watch that epitomizes good taste. And if I may, they also act as a sort of extension of the sapphire crystal. And this particular generation of Day-Date was the first to incorporate a sapphire crystal. So you're really getting, with a pre-owned watch that's historically significant, you're getting the modern Rolex experience. Auto-winding, oyster case, sapphire crystal won't scratch like acrylic or any other thermoplastic, so you won't have to worry about refinishing scuffs or scratches on there. And let's face it, if you're that master of the universe, Bilderberg type, a president, a third world dictator, you won't want to have to worry about polishing your crystal. You've got better things to do. And because you've got better things to do, it's worth noting that this generation with the 3055 movement is what's known as the single quickset, whereas before you would have to send the hands flying to cycle through all of the days and the dates on a Day-Date. This particular generation of the watch features a convenient quickset that allows you to swap the date just by cycling through with the crown in the second position. Very convenient, very quick, so you can get back onto conquering swaths of territory in third world countries. Or Fortune 500 conquests, whichever, gives you your kicks. Whatever you're into. If you're the kind of guy who wears a Rolex President, chances are your time is valuable. And because your time is valuable, Rolex Chronometer certified every Day-Date ever made. From the beginning, this was actually the first watch to feature the term superlative chronometer on the dial, and for good reason. Rolex tests this watch cased up and before it's cased up, submitting it to the COSC, the Swiss authority that tests chronometers for accuracy over a 2-week period. And once it receives the watch back with the chronometer certificate, it actually tests again to ensure that the watch performs the same once the movement is placed into the final case. And this Day-Date is a beneficiary the beneficiary of that. Pardonnez-moi. Now, this particular Day-Date is available from watchyouwant.com with a complete set. So not only is this an outstanding historic reference, but it's fully documented and fully complete. Everything you would have received from an authorized dealer's showroom when this watch is new is included with the watch. We're talking brochures, we're talking hang tags, we're talking factory service booklet, we're talking about the factory operating manual, inner and outer boxes. It's an exceptionally clean set. So whether you're a leader of the free world or you prefer to bring it to its knees, the Rolex Day-Date, better known as the President, available here with a single quick set through watchyouwant.com, is the ultimate choice.